Hello, this is Unbound Sage, and welcome to the recap of GodForge Alpha Wave 3. I must say, this is absolutely an incredible competition for me. I've achieved everything I set out for and more. I am very proud of my accomplishments, and I kind of want to walk through where I came from and where I was when this competition started. So, to start things off, uh, this is Virgo's Vault. This is what really motivated me. The trip to Las Vegas wasn't terribly motivating until we knew where we were going from Simon's video. And so I talked to my wife, asked if I could go hard, and I came up with the plan, right? So the plan starts with this calendar. We have no energy drops in the beginning. It's just the energy you get from the caverns. So energy is going to be scarce here, and I feel as if energy waste matters much more in the initial part of the competition. And I was hoping to have all the stars done by Saturday. That was the plan. And so for those of you who don't know, there were 3 ways to get to Vegas. Get to the bottom first, get all the challenges done first, or get the highest 2 damage on Fafnir. And I'm not very good at clan boss type styles, and I think the getting to the bomb first was just a luck thing. But I think the skill, the stars, was the one that rewarded planning and skill the most, and that was the only real way I was going to win this competition. So I was going for stars. Okay, so let me go into the actual part of the plan now. So here's the spreadsheet that is the breakdown of all the challenges. And the real thing you have to realize is that all the challenges before 90, you can be level 40 with. So anything 90 and under is free. Absolutely. And anything at 110 or down, you could still be 140 at. It's up until you get past 120 that you might need to be 5-star. As long as you can bring in someone who is a 6-star carry, if that makes sense. So most of the challenges below 120 are kind of just do it. And then the ones between 120 and 140 are, hey, just do it as well, but with stronger people and with a carry. And then the last 40 are where the game really ramps up. And you'll see here on the side, these are the champions I expected to do it with on the worst luck. So obviously Zeus not ascended is the best way to do this stage by far. And also I put YDG here, but that was actually a mistake. YDG does buff himself. But this is the kind of thing I was going through is if you scroll down here, I checked, 2 Olympus heroes, that's Icarus and Minotaur. And so I went over here and I had a list of champions I needed for challenges when I needed them. Obviously Mummy was for Curse, I believe. So I didn't actually need Mummy. But this was a rough sketch of when I would need these characters and when they were done, right? So Scotty here, you can see she doesn't put buffs on your team. So she's probably going to be used here. And you just need a 5-star. Some notes of, I knew 120 was going to be difficult. So I put notes on who I thought was going to be important here. Shinigami placing Drain for Guan Yu. We'll go over Shinigami's kit in a little bit and why he was so pivotal. But if the team attack were for Shishi and then more attack enablers for Guan Yu, just really hammer that thing down, and then Shishi survives the big attack at the end. And obviously these guys can be changed. Obviously I have Brynhild written here as well. And then other champions that were interesting were the brawlers needed for 145. So just keep an eye on them. And then Pangu being a replacement for 142. And then this is our progression core. So this was the core. This powerful core with a Salde and a defender was going to carry me through the early game. And then Guan Yu and Shinigami being a prepper, while Guan Yu being the sweeper, right? And then with his core giving him divinity, and then his ultimate giving him core refresh, a very strong wave clear champion. As well as if you make him a 6-star, he survives bosses better. His A1 with Drain 1, which Shinigami can place for him, so you do not need accuracy on Guan Yu. So these two worked very well as a rare damage dealing core. And then I was planning to use these guys all the way down because these are also used. We'll get to 142 and its requirement in a moment. But planning upgrades for these two to 2 defenders with Assault imprints. So moving Assault over to a defender and then moving Shichi to a better defender, like a Hounded Duat or Heimdall or whatever. And then Scotty is here for troublesome waves that need to be CC'd, and that can be upgraded to Mordred, right, for more consistent AoE CCs. And as we can see here, these are other champions that they were hard champion checks. So Zeus makes things trivial to clear, and the game also asks you for an Eternal Slayer. And so Zeus was very big, but the important thing was not to A1. And then there are hard championships. You need an Aetherburn, which only 2 champions do with Shamash and Loki. And you need a Charm, which only 3 champions do. Loki, Odin, and Isolde. However, the enemy wave did not have a Tristan in it. So Isolde's Charm only works on a Tristan. So it made this a hard champion check. So if you get Loki, you're good to go. And you get both. And if you get Shamash or Odin, you can bypass the Loki. And then finally, there is an Immortal challenge as well. So the people that have Immortal that are reasonable are getting a Hercules, or a A1 Sphinx also puts Immortal on her. There's also an A5 Isis, but in the scope of the challenge, that did not seem reasonable. So that was in the back of the mind, but that's not really what we're going for. So this was the team. This is our team here, and this team did phenomenally. It pushes really well. It does its job. And then we upgrade to Sphinx at level 30 with the Assault imprint because we got Sphinx at 30. And so that really made the Sphinx A1 a lot more reliable, a lot better. And we pushed all the way to 90 with this team. And it was very easy. On the way, we picked up a Brynhild. And so we had the double defenders with the 2 damage dealers. Bring in Scotty when needed, right? If we didn't need, depending... She usually replaced Shinigami or honestly Sphinx, depending. But Sphinx also does decent damage. So we had Shinigami running the fastest, with Sphinx A1ing to weaken them, and then Guan Yu sweeping. And we got Heimdall at 90. So honestly, this was best case scenario for me because I wanted to rank these 2 up, and you should always rank up your damage dealers first. And then getting 2 really strong defenders to back that up was more than I could ever hope for. And the team did take a while as we got down to like the 130s. 120 worked as expected as well, putting the Drain on with Shinigami, and then Guan Yu just smacking it. And then we added an Achilles here for extra damage. I should have had Achilles here, but Achilles was key for 120. I didn't really get stuck anywhere, but as I said on the podcast, this team, your champion quality is low. So you really have to think about what you're doing. You could not auto. You could not use your core off of cooldown. You really had to reset the wave and really get your resources back per wave. And then this was the team that got me from 141 all the way down to 149, having 2 really strong CC champions with 2 nukers. So we nuke the wave, and then we control what we can't nuke. And then we kill them slowly to get our nukes back. So yeah, that's how I got to the bottom. I got to the bottom 24th. So pretty happy with this being my core that got me to the bottom. So at this point, I was hanging out in the Discord this whole time. It was about 2 days. I was hanging out in the official Faithless Discord. And my plan, although simple, became a meme because I was using Shinigami and I was hyping it up and stuff. I wonder how many Shinigamis got leveled because of me being in the Discord, just talking about how Shinigami does everything. So let's take a moment and look over Shinigami's kit to see why he was so useful in this wave. So here we are on Raven Pyros' website. There'll be a link in the description for Raven Pyros. This is the go-to site for anything about GodForge, especially the alpha. Raven Pyros has been very generous to let me use his website on my videos. So, go show him some love and use his website. So Shinigami here, we can see that he can steal buffs. There are a lot of annoying wards, and we'll get to wards later. But there are a lot of annoying wards on buffs. Like, I think there's a Lady Jacques wave that has a ward on her. A lot of weaker Slayers have wards, so you can't just nuke them. So when he was running the fastest, we could steal a buff. It could steal 2 because this does hit twice. And it always steals Phoenix, so the Osiris could not res itself. And then we have this AoE defense down and AoE Hex as well. This is the only source of Hex in the game. He is mandatory for one of the challenges as well. And it is a later challenge, so it is nice to have him actually built out so he doesn't get one shot. And this does do decent damage. Like if you can see here, if we crank him all the way up, it is doing a base of like 4,500. And if you look around at champions, this is a decent nuke while also putting defense down. And lastly, he has a low cooldown ultimate that puts on Curse, which reduces healing, Drain, which also makes them take more damage, and you heal off of them. And lastly, he has a chance to insta kill at 10%, and he puts Banish on the hero, which means they do not revive. So what this means is these harder waves, like 142, where that has a Hercules, Quetzalcoatl, and Shamash, you can save the A1 and the ultimate to pick off these reviving champions or the revived targets, and they do not come back. So Shinigami keeps people dead, and with the drain enabling the Guan Yu A1, this is amazing. And I mean, and even stopping the dragon from healing on 30 and 90, like when the dragon comes down and he heals for 20% of his HP, he's actually only healing for what, 15% with this. So considering he does that twice, you know, Shinigami does 10% of the dragon's HP with just having this curse up and holding it for, you know, when the dragon's about to sit down, because that's when you want the drain on anyway to have the big one you hits. But yeah, this has been amazing. With a low cooldown and a small initiative investment, you can really make this go hard. So yeah, that's Shinigami. He was actually a good champion used for a lot of stages, so he was central to the plan. At this point, in the Discord, I noticed that a lot of the people that I made connections with in Wave 2 were not there, and that kind of bummed me out. And it turned out that there was a new pantheon forming called the Hindmind. And I was invited, but I have awful DM management, and I didn't notice when they messaged me and asked me to join. So the Hindmind was a group of individuals who really connected during Wave 2, and our goal was to prove that the Wave 2 Alpha Chat really knew what they were doing and to clean sweep the leaderboards. And so for me, I was always getting for 300 stars. That was no secret. Even during Wave 2, I was talking about it. So I was invited to be a part of that push and an expert if I could not make it myself to help someone get there. So I'm sorry for Pone Cakes. He's the guy who really put this together and really stuff out. He thought I was ghosting him, but it felt so bad when he explained the situation to me. I'll link his, I think he does Twitch streams. I'll link his stuff he's a new content creator as well. Definitely check him out. He's a great guy. Really understands the industry of gaming and just like business side of a lot of it. So he's been great just as a mentor almost and a figurehead to speak on people like me on my behalf. But let's continue. So now we talked about the stage. We talked about the 140s. The next day after getting to 151 is just cleaning up every stage before 140. It does take a while, but it's not too difficult. So that meant farming for champions. We got the Hercules for the Immortal. We did the 12 labors for the Immortal stage. It means I got Odin and I got Shamash. So we did the Charm and Etherburn stage. And those are the hard champ checks. After that, it is literally, do you have the team? And we got Zeus when we beat 150. Which means, all of a sudden, these challenges are done. And these are all the challenges that Zeus trivializes, honestly. Having Zeus on the team, these are just done. And at this point, 149 was bugged. And it was having invisible buffs. And I was one of the first people in the Hindmind to get the star, and we kind of just chalked it up to RNG, right? You just keep doing the stage over and over again until you get the 2-star. So with that left, there was really just leveling up the brawlers and leveling up chaos heroes and leveling up for 142, 143, 145. 148, we weren't even sure if it was possible with 2 rares and the time it would take to get the gear quality to do it. And for 150, it seemed to be a little tricky to do. So our strategy for 150, as the Hivemind came up with, was to just have a team that can full auto it with, and I ran Sphinx and Heimdall for reflect debuffs. I'm not sure how we triggered it, but the idea was just run the team. You need to farm champions anyway, for the 2 chaos heroes, and for, you know, I was trying to get a Pangu still for 142. So yeah, we just farmed it. Eventually I got it. I wasn't even watching when I got it, so yeah, that's just a matter of time. So with those 2 stages done, we came to the last 3, which was 148, which we knew wasn't possible. And the Chaos Heroes were giving me a hard time because it turns out, while that stage is trivialized by Anubis, if you did not have Anubis, it was a very tough stage. And obviously 142 is difficult, and I did not have a Pangu either. So I decided to do 142. I think that 143, you know, with not having Anubis was more difficult. So I went to work on 142, and I got it. If you look on the screen, we have Tion and Izumu units, and we did not get the 2-star at all. And so I report this. I'm salty. There's a lot of people that called me out in the you know, in the Hivemind. So I really appreciate them for being too salty and kind of putting my head on straight. I felt a lot of defeat as well, and there was one particular person in there named Fusion. Right, he won he was the second to the bottom. It was like, hey, this, you know, we already have a few bugs. How about instead of giving up, we just try the different factions? And before you know it, we cleared it because we found out that Asgard was actually a key faction. And with having Brimdell, Heimdall, and Scotty, and I already pulled a Hell as well, it was easy. I already had the team built. They were already 6-star. So I just went in there and cleared it. I was very fortunate it was Asgard. And at this point, the Fateless team knew that 142 and 149 were bugged. And Simon made the call to move the goalpost from 300 stars to 298. And so I won at this point. Lyco beat me first, but he was the first one to the bottom. And he was also in the Hivemind. And then I did it, and then we called Papa Tez up. He was in the middle of, I think, of a church gathering. They're like, hey, we have it. If you come home now, we'll get you to Vegas. And so we were all working together, and so me and Papa Tez became the explorers at this point. But obviously I wasn't done, because 143 is not bugged, and 148 was the crown gem I wanted, right, to really add to the Hivemind. So I got work to 143, and we beat it with Hell and Mordred, because the big problem with this wave is the second wave has a Raw with 2 ward stacks, and it has a Isis. So if you try to do a really fast team that nukes them, the ward on Raw will stop you, and he will nuke you back and kill you. And if you do a slow team like Sphinx Dracula, which I tried, Isis sets up shop, and there's no way to beat them, as Maria Marevna is one of the only people that can beat a set up Isis team, and she's ordered, so you cannot use her. But I remembered that Mordred, while being really good at controlling waves, also removes buffs on his A1 when you ascend him. And so we removed the ward stacks, and then Hell absolutely nukes him. And yeah, so it worked out really well. I do have a video of that. I will probably post it on the channel just as a fun side content thing. You know, maybe unlisted. I'll probably put it in the description if you're interested in seeing, you know, what that run looked like. It was pretty short, but I think this video is already getting a little too long. I want to include it in the main video. And then lastly, we beat 148. Yeah, we beat it with using the absolute cannon that is Lady Jacques. And we had to use starters because we don't want Maria Marevna, because we don't want Isis to set up shop at all. We want to kill them before they get a turn. And with the gear that they had, these two can kill all but one Horus, because one Horus is tankier than the other one in the first wave. And at that point, you have ultimates at your disposal and cores. We could set up our cores again. And the last 2 waves were kind of free. So this was the gear. Remember, this gear may not look impressive. However, this gear on Zeus is a 6k attack Zeus. Zeus has 50% more attack than Lady Jacques does. And we are using a epic weapon, which does more damage on the first attack per wave. And both these weapons have a Zeus imprint on them. So I got 2 more Zeuses from farming before I got like an Anubis or whatever. So this gear is actually cracked. And so the reason we could get here is realizing the desperate need for attack on Lady Jacques. So I actually used this piece here, which is a piece you might look over with flat attack stat. But Lady Jacques needs so much attack, and with this having a good attack percentage multiplier as well, it was just as good, if not a little bit better, than attack a stat main piece. And we already have a lot of crit damage. That's how much we needed attack. Is a crit damage main stat wasn't necessary if our attack is still at 3k. So yeah, I mean, looking outside the box, this is the reason I won the 148. I got to 300 stars first. I got to 300 stars on the, if we go back here, just to the calendar. I got 300 stars Sunday morning. So before this energy drop happened. And people did not get 300 stars. I believe it was Thursday morning was the next 2 people cleaning up the stars. As for me, I don't know if I have any other slides or not. Yes. So we beat them all at this point. I want to talk about moving forward. The channel, we're going to keep going. During the downtime, we're going to release more of the lore videos and kind of just waiting for GodForge to come out. I'll be in the Fateless Discord chilling. And then with the Hindmind, we plan to hang out and play video games and be a real Pantheon force at the launch. The people in Hindmind, they're phenomenal people. And so, yeah, expect to see me more in the community. I've been working on the Divinity calculator I released. I'll see if I have some numbers. I can see if I could make that better. Right now, it's quite sad. But yeah, I plan to release more guides. And now that the competition is over, I'm going to be a lot more open with my strategies as well. I felt bad not being open, but it's a competition. And I wanted to win. So yeah, with that, make sure you like and subscribe and comment how you feel about the competition. I had so much fun. It was a blast. With that, take it easy. Bye.